It is time. The culmination of so many months of working together, working hard, and putting everything that you have on the line for the NECC Grand Finals. My name is Sam Talks. Joining me is Zobi. And Zobi, it can't be any other players, any other teams in Division 1 than Winthrop University going up against Maryville University. Two titans that transcend collegiate, taking on each other for the grand title tonight.
I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, teams, schools that have you stepped into the realm of challengers, trying to be more than just collegiate, and a spot at nationals is up for grabs as well. Later in the spring season, you get that auto qualification spot. Don't have to worry about points or really spring competition at all, and you can focus on then that challengers, right? So again, everything here for this best of 5 is on the line, Sam.
Oh yeah, and they've had an interesting playoffs so far, at the very least for what's happening here in Division 1, where Winthrop, their interesting is more along the lines of it's been kind of easy for them, right? They're undefeated, losing only one map to the aforementioned
I wonder who.
Maryville University. Whereas Maryville has been going through the ringer, right? They've been going up through so many different rosters and so many different, I would even go so far as, again, to say Titans as well. Beating Tamu Maroon, beating Northwood multiple times sometimes that they've had to go throughout these adventures of their own. And now it comes back into the rematch with Winthrop to hopefully be able to take the crown. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rosters, the head-to-head, and see what exactly we have going on, Zobi. And these names at this point should be household names, right?
Of course, for Maryville, Renz, Cloric, Giza, Angie, and Wildfire. And for Winthrop University, Flare, Infiltrator, Nazi, Jerk, and Moobs. And I mean, for Maryville, like I was ecstatic to see, some SEC folks step over more. So Giza, and that I think definitely bolstered this squad because they didn't have like the best performance in previous years. And now, like you mentioned, they've kind of disrupted the previous collegiate kings from 2 seasons ago. And Taylor, they've done it twice, so they can't say it was a fluke at this point. And Winthrop, I mean, we know these names now in the challenger scene more than anything. And Nazi in particular is the one that stands out to me, IGL, retire, unretire. Here they are, there they are, and they are back to stay and hopefully take this title.
Yeah, but these two have met on the battlefield many, many times before, Zobi. Not even just counting what we've had in the Division 1 playoffs, not what we had in the regular playoffs, but through so many different iterations of what this team has gone through and so many different iterations of what this team has been. But at the end of the day, Zobi, it's still that Winthrop dominance that we're seeing against these two, where the last time we saw a Maryville victory over Winthrop was all the way back at Hugh 2023.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a best of 1, too, so we know anything goes, and also Hugh's always that inaugural event for the collegiate season as well, so you're still figuring things out with your squad, and who knows what was happening with the meta and the maps at that time as well. We always know that's kind of spicier towards the beginning of the season, but what I want to point out is that, like, they've had more success this year, right? They started off 2-0, they've now taken a map off of them, and the scores are getting closer, neck and neck. So while the record does favor Winthrop, and I'm sure that's where everyone would be hedging their bets, Maryville, again, like you mentioned, Trial by Fire cannot count them out.
No, you can't. You can't. They've been able to, at the very least, bring Winthrop to these, the final map of the series that they need to go to. But tonight is going to be a little different, Zobi, where we've been seeing best of 3s. Whew! Hope you're locked in because we are in for a best of 5 series. So a lot more opportunities to be able to spread your wings, a lot more opportunities to be able to try and manipulate the map pool into your favor, where you're able to be on some of the maps that you actually want to be on, play on, and take us all the way to that map 5. But for both of these teams, right, and for what we might be getting out of the map pool so far, a lot of interesting, but not so interesting as well.
No, well, I mean, you kind of leaked it, and we'll just have to jump in the maps here sooner rather than later. But I completely agree. I mean, a best of 5. It's gonna be a long night. I mean, it's already 7 p.m. for the East Coast, which it's for these teams, and they were even like, okay, we got to make sure that it's earlier starting for you guys here, at least by 30 minutes, to an hour. And I think I'm hoping that they're not exhausted and burnt out from challengers, right?
Yeah.
Especially Winthrop. It was a double elimination format, fell in lower round 2. Like, you got to get back into your confidence swings, and I think that's what is good for collegiate for these two squads, is right. You go to challenges, you get bodied, and you're like, doubting your abilities, and you get back to collegiate and you're like, well, success. We beat Northwood, we beat Tim with your Maryville, and Winthrop obviously just been sailing along. But I need to point out as well, Maryville, like you mentioned, they're undefeated other than Winthrop. There are 2 losses, right, in that upper finals in the playoffs and that round 4, I believe it was, during the group stage. So again, like, these are the best of the best, undisputably so far in Division 1.
Yeah, and I mean, the only team who's able to take a map off of Maryville is Texas A&M, one of the top dogs, the current CVAL champions.
Yeah.
So it makes sense what they've been going through. And even looking at their challengers run, as short as it was, right? They were going up against some amazing teams, right? They went up against YFP, they went up against Funhaver. So to, again, titans of what's been happening inside of the challenger scene right now in stage 3, where Winthrop, yeah, they've been going through a lot more. They've been able to practice, they've been able to spread their wings and show what they're capable of. And we've also seen that a lot as well, Zobi, during DreamHack, where Winthrop came in as a storm of nature and dominated that particular tournament. And so here we are again, where we're at the finals for NECC. Another opportunity here for Winthrop to, like you said, got a little shaky there in the last 2 rounds of the Challengers games that they played, but that opportunity to remind us all why they got that far, why they're the top dogs, why they're so good, especially inside of collegiate. And Maryville has a lot to live up to.
Well, with that, we talked about the macro, the storylines, why this matchup is important, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's look at that map pick and ban. This is exactly where these teams are taking this series. So we got our kind of obvious bans, Pearl Split coming back into the pool. No one wants to deal with those at the moment, and then the rest of the maps fall as they will. Ascent, Abyss, Haven, Sunset, and Bind. And for me, Sam, I think it's really front heavy for Winthrop, but then really late heavy for Maryville if you looked at their kind of performance across the season. So, again, this is either going to be, in my mind, kind of a 3-0 for Winthrop, or if Maryville picks one map up here, I think we're going the distance.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, looking at just the previous game that they played in the Division 1 playoffs between Winthrop and Maryville had a really strong showing on the map of Sunset, where it was a 13-5 against Winthrop. But it's just, they got to make it there, right, Zobi?
No, for sure.
It's a best of 5. So if they can get through Ascent, Abyss, and Haven, at least taking one of those maps off, it sets themselves up going into Sunset and Bind. And that's not to say that their performance on these maps aren't bad either, because you look at the overview of what these team likes to play, it does factor in a lot of Abyss. That's also kind of where the other shoe falls as well, because guess what? Winthrop themselves plays a lot of Abyss also. So it comes down to, has Maryville been able to find the right formula for success, the right agents that they want to play here on the newest map in Valorant? Or are they looking maybe towards the brighter times in Ascent and Haven?
And I think for me, that's what stands out about Maryville, is they're taking these losses and they're learning from them, whether it was against Tamu, whether it was against Winthrop, right? For example, Sunset, they lost originally 13 or 9-13 to Winthrop, but then, like you mentioned, they stomped them the second time with that 13-5. And it was a similar case scenario against Tamu on Bind, another map at the end of our best of 5, where they lost 9-13, but then stomped 13-4. So maybe third time's the charm for Abyss, since that's that map they've played both times and have lost with similar storylines. But I hate to say it, but I say, like, Ascent is, like, hate them as deciders, but the first map honestly is going to set the tone for this entire series in my mind, because of those middle maps favoring, Winthrop. It feels so heavily.
Yeah, and I mean, we better enjoy Ascent while it lasts. Not going to be here for very much longer, so this is a good opportunity for both of these teams to really flex everything they have for this map that is about to sail off into the distance. And what better way to do it than here in the grand finals for this to be the starting map that we're going to be on for both of these teams. And I mean, Ascent at this point, what more is there to talk about other than the fact that we could see the Deadlock? The Deadlock has been a really popular agent coming out on this map. And for both of our teams, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of an appearance from her.
No, for sure. I would not be surprised either. But I think what we can talk about in terms of Ascent is the fact that, I mean, Maryville hasn't played it since round 3 of NECC group stage, and it was a 13-4. It was a blowout. Versus we've only seen kind of blips of it from Winthrop, and those have been close games, like near and double-digit affairs. So it's nothing like a pop-off map for them, but it's a good for, like, warm-up map for, I think, both of these teams. We talked about it. It's important too.
Yeah. I mean, you can go back to, for Winthrop University, the upper semis in Challengers, where they went up against NBG, Nightblood Gaming. And yeah, the composition that they run, I'm not gonna spoil it just yet, but that was I'm kind of excited for us to take a look and see what they might be cooking up there. For Maryville, though, right? It's hope that you've been able to put on your game face for going into this map, especially with it being the first map of the evening. Time to be able to warm up. It's a best of 5 again, so it's going to be a long night regardless. We're going to be seeing at the very least 3 maps, and so hopefully, if they can take this hit on the chin, really got to bring out the big guns going into Abyss, and where we are having that running dialogue of hopefully they've been able to learn, and hopefully they've been able to continue to tool things for them to be able to get the W. And if not there, then it's going to have to be Haven. Otherwise, it's going to be an early night.
Yeah, and speaking of early, why don't we give our predictions here, Sam? All right, I'll take the heat first.
Okay.
I said it in the green room, and I'll stick by it because I doubted Winthrop during the DreamHack LAN. You called me out for that as well. I'm gonna say it, Winthrop. I think 3-0, but I think they're gonna be close double-digit games.
I'm gonna go a little step further beyond. I'm eschewing the 3-0. I'm gonna go 4-1. Right? I think Maryville has. It's gonna be for Winthrop.
Okay.
So, I think Maryville has it in them to get at least one map. It's like you said, though. I think they're going to be close affairs. I think they're going to be the whole story isn't going to be belied whether there's a 3-0 or a 4-1, but it's still going to be at the end of the evening a Winthrop victory, right? This team has been looking so good. The evidence is in front of us. It's evidence in the playoffs. It's evidence in challengers. It's evidence with what this team has gone through, especially when we saw in the head-to-head between these two teams. So a lot on the line starting off on our grand finals, but we get to go into Agent Select and get an idea of what Ascent is going to be looking like. And wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I just want to like give everyone a second to let this sink in, all right? So the Maryville comp, not really. I wouldn't say it's not a surprise because that's kind of like the new adaptation, right?
Yeah.
I feel like M80, SR, they've been running it in other scenes in Valorant competitive. But I think everyone's looking at the Nazi Sage right now, right? Like, what is like? I hope you're brushed up on your Grim walls, or all you know, you're gonna be shot through a window.
I mean, I guess they're looking at those minor Sage buffs that came through, right? The reduction in ultimate points needed to get their res online, and then of course the buff, the heal buff that Sage has now. Regardless, though, it is going to be Winthrop University starting off on the defense. Maryville for the attack in this unconventional Winthrop composition that we have going on with the double Sentinel.
I mean, I'm glad not to see a KO, right? No suppression, no utility can be robbed away from these teams, so they're truly going to be at their best. Here to see how it's going to work out with the double Sentinel on the attack. But for now, I mean, you're on the defense and you're already getting proactive infiltrator. Little cubby action here. But the rest of the team, just their procedure. It's a pistol. Clear out A main.
Clear out A main. Things are breaking out pretty fast over your Maryville, and you can see the Yoro already putting in the gate crash to get into the flank area of this, but Jerk a little bit ahead of the game, and even more so on that with the amount of kills that they've been able to grab. 3K for Jerk, and Winthrop University looking solid and in command for the first pistol round of the evening.
I mean, that's kind of what we're expecting for them out of the gates. I mean, buying enough time as well for the rest of the team to rotate over. That is the benefit of that double Sentinel. You leave all your stuff utility on B. You have still a way to hold down some of these other parts of the map. And I did like the entry from Maryville. It was very like standard, right? Deadlock wall, everyone filter in. But again, just insane from Jerk, that 3-piece. And pistol dusted into the pan. And as they move on to their buy, Nazi, that's the wrong word. No, I'm joking.
Nazi doesn't care right now. Yeah, they're hearing the ult orb, they're seeing the shock dart at their feet. The wall is ready to go, but Nazi's decided, nah, it's okay. Let him flood through. We'll take care of it. It's all gonna be okay. They're working on a lighter buy this go around. They see the orb coming at their feet. They heard it go up. That's an interesting wall, though. It prevents them from going on the other side of Generator. Not enough HP for Nazi to be able to survive, even with that healing orb that was given to them. But Rins, on that HP. They get the spike planted. It's a 3v2.
I like this. Hand infiltrator the Bulldog. You're going to be clearing out these spaces. Allow them entry, hopefully off of that information or wallbang off of it. Beautiful. No. Somehow. You should not be alive, but you are. You retug Generator. And unfortunately, Renz gets aggressive and Angie left, battered and bruised, and the clutch a 1v3 that they will not be able to find. Great attempt, but the 3v3, the better weapons, and just, again, beautiful re-entry off the utility. Winthrop is going to secure their bye round.
And they didn't really even lose many weapons off of that round, right? It was NECC who had a ghost at that point, and I think Jerk was also there, so it wasn't that big of an issue for them to lose the weapons that they did. So they get to go into this bonus round where NECC is picking up the Phantom, and you still have a majority of your players still looking phenomenally well in the bank department. I mean, Infiltrator is at 4,200 credits. Regardless of how this round goes, it's a very good opportunity here for Winthrop to take the W.
Yeah, and I love these kind of strats. Look, the Jet Sage, side by side over towards A of main, the duo they were meant to be.
Oh my gosh.
And the rest of the squad dealing with the Odin force up here. And I mean, yeah, get out of dodge if you can, Cypher. Your utility is important. They're trying to do everything they can to get rid of you and get rid of it. Shock darts, dimensional drift now all in tow. I mean, they want this first buy round if you're Maryville.
Yeah, and you're doing everything you can to secure that. Porix Odin has been putting in so much work right now, but NECC's Phantom, right, the new buy that they were able to grab going into the bonus round, setting themselves up towards taking and eliminating one. Finally, the spike is going to get onto the site, and for Winthrop University, a tough battle that they have to chew through.
I mean, we didn't even point out the double Senti with the Killjoy and the Deadlock here, right? So your Killjoy's still in mid lurk, correct? Holds down tiles where your Deadlock can focus on helping the team entry. But that can't help you hold on to the site when it is only Chloric now that Odin has to put in overtime as well, Sam, in addition to the work they already had. And that's the benefit of that wall. Look over towards main. Two players playing from main, and suddenly they both have to fight back into the site where the players for Winthrop have already occupied the space and are on the spike and defusing because they've won the round.
Unbelievable, Zobi, because of how much Maryville invested to take this round. And the success they had going into this, right? They got the first blood. They got the dimensional drift to bring them onto the site, but playing off of it cost them everything because of that Sage Wall from NECC. And being able to survive that long, we might be seeing the genius of the Sage pick already into this game. It's creating just that extra chaos that Maryville wasn't prepared for. Where, sure, you have the Deadlock Wall, but guess what? You can fire through the Deadlock Wall. It's not that big of a deal, but with the Sage Wall, it's having to adapt to that when you might not be ready for it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously they wanted players to play main, and then they no longer could, right? All that post-play utility, suddenly you're forced to show your hand, force through. And speaking of forcing through, Rens, here mid, it is the eco round, but another first blood goes their way. Should be able to collect that weapon unimpeded as well. And there's your big difference as well between KO holding the space and your Sage. You got to get up a little closer, slow, wall. As a result, now they have to fill that hole, and that's the double swing coming out from the Omen and the Jet. Moves as well mid. That was gutsy.
That was gutsy, and they were far too out in the open. They couldn't retreat to safety. So what does Maryville do? They abuse the numbers and overwhelm the Cypher that was in mid. So now there's no Sentinel. There's no trips. There's no slow orbs. There's no pesky walls to prevent them from pushing onto a site. The only issue is which site do they want to lean towards? And right now, that's B. And even though they've gotten those pickoffs, Zobi, they didn't grab the weapon. So they're still working at this hindered state that they're currently in. But with the way that things are going right now, Jerk doesn't have enough info to really gain maximum value out of this Odin just yet. For Maryville, even though the loss of their Deadlock happened in mid, they're still going to be able to get the spike planted.
Yeah, the decision to draw mid instead of over towards site. They had no information B main because there was no spike and there were no trips over towards switch. So they walk out, they get the plant, they keep numbers now in this post plant, and the HP advantage is apparent. Even with Infiltrator finding this frag, they've been dinged down to half HP, and only half the job seems to be done here on this retake.
All right, Chloric blinded out. It's still a back and forth, right? 2v2, and Winthrop University is the one lower on that HP as long as they can hit these shots. My God, the man is flying around all over the place. You cannot grab this Omen when they have moves like that, Zobi. Winthrop University, it was bloody. It took a little bit of time to get there, but it all ends the same for a fourth round in their pocket.
Yeah, it takes two to tango, I guess. I mean, Flare the first to dance around, and Chloric says, wait, I can do this too. I can play time. I have 1 HP. Let me get into Boathouse. And unfortunately, Flare's dance had come to an end. So 4-0 here. Like you mentioned, Winthrop, We kind of said they were going to come out swinging, but this is a statement and a half. I mean, they've gotten that lethal combination now of the Odin and the Operator online. Florix Odin may be just the saving grace that they need. We'll see. I mean, it's over towards B here yet again. But look at this. They're trying to replicate, or I should say, fix the death of the Sage over towards the tree that happened last round. Yeah, with the Sage Wall, with the op. Last thing you're going to expect is a Jet opping up here.
The good news is for Maryville, the smoke is just high enough that you can't really see anything with that Operator. But Operator doesn't care. They're going to whip out the knives, but unfortunately not landing a single shot from the Angie. Crouching is going to keep them alive and intact. Not for long, though. Got to make sure to keep an eye on this pesky Sage. The number's still working in their way, and guess what? The revive is so beautiful. Infiltrator was taken out, but now they're brought back into the fight for the 4v3.
Lose the lives though, so having to reach it with an op is gonna be difficult, and it is a dueling Sovas here, floating in the air, levitating, but Jerk will come out on top, and the chaos is enough for Nazi to get back in. Renz now has to get the 1v4 clutch here, and unfortunately it's Nazi having insane impact this round, from the whole setup to hold down mid, Cubby, to then the resurrection onto their jets, and then even that, the final cherry on top, finding Renz over towards stairs. 5-0 sweep right now.
No, Zobi, I didn't have on my bingo card for this evening the dueling Hunter's Fury, where Chloric has to take to the air to try and survive Jerk, but still get sniped off regardless. And for Winthrop University, you're taking the wins in these rounds in such monumental ways, right? Because not only are you winning them, not only are you're basically getting pretty much the players that you need to get through alive, but you're taking ultimates off of Maryville, who hasn't found very much success with them regardless. Another wall is going to happen, but this time around, Infiltrator has clearer views of the targets they want to take against. Oh, Renz, I know what you're doing, buddy. You know there's something on the other side.
And the thing is, they don't know what it is, because last round it was smoked off. And one of these rounds they're going to get this opportunity, and I hope it's not going to just be a matter of kind of timing, falling flat, and exposing the plan before it can get its payoff. But speaking of payoff, moves, we've seen them before in that aggressive island position over towards mid. Usually punished, but this time the solo player that's hurt was not enough to support them over towards top mid. And unfortunately, that's your only smoke gone.
Yeah, only smoke's gone, and they didn't deal any damage to moves either. So the Cypher gets to walk away unbothered, moisturized, happy, and quick jump peek is going to spot the two players that were coming in through B main. Moves is going to grab the one before Rings trades it out, but Jerk is not going to leave their fallen comrade unavenged for very long. You can tell, I think there might be some of that rivalry going on here, Zobi.
Oh, of course. I mean, you're already up 5-0. You can go for some shenanigans here. I mean, Jerk sporting Chloric's Odin skin as well is just adding fuel to the fire. Hopefully to Wildfire here. The first leading the charge into this exec. It is hard when you have double Sentinels left. Wildfire does have the Annihilation if they see hope to win this round. And that frag, the double frag from Giza, might just be it. I mean, your Killjoy is low, time is low. Maybe, yeah, your Killjoy ulted up. Make sure you have the safety of the plant. The question is, will Winthrop disrespect it? And the answer quickly sprung is yes.
Yeah, they're going in for it, right? They know that they're damaged. They know that Giza has no HP. The Annihilation, Zobi, it hit the wall in front of Wildfire. It was set up so perfectly to grab Infiltrator in the net. But unfortunately, the ultimate wish, and Winthrop has 6 rounds in a row on the map of Ascent.
Oh, wow. And we said it. It was going to be a long evening, and Winthrop says that we are having none of that here right now. Yep, there it is. The timeout here from Maryville. Maybe needed a little bit sooner. We'll look at what the economy situation here looks like just a bit. I mean, they just invested 2 heavy ultimates into that round as well, right? The lockdown, the annihilation. And I won't lie, I think they were well spent, right? But I think you had to prepare for the fact that Winthrop's up 5-0, right? They're gonna be, confident. They're gonna challenge you. And so I maybe wanted to see, even with the low HP Giza, maybe position for that reflood in from stairs. But aside from that, I think that's what MC is talking about here is, okay, we lost our important ultimates, and Winthrop is sailing away. Aside from that, what do you think they're talking about, Sam?
Yeah, I think they're talking about a great many things right now, right? Every single ultimate that Maryville has popped has not gone their way, has not changed the flow of battle from Winthrop University. And not only that, but there are moments where they have the numbers advantage, right? And in all theory, Maryville University should at least be able to convert 1 round for something. they just haven't been able to do that. The retake from Winthrop University has been so well done. It's been cooked to perfection every single time. And that's when you also take a look at the leaderboard. Every player is pulling their own weight. No one has really stepped up above and outshined the other, where Maryville University is kind of struggling to find that attack half victory for them. And so we're going to have the early usage of the dimensional drift from Rins. This is going to have to be the one to give them something more than what has happened.
I mean, last time it got them the site control. It was just that post plant they had to improve, and now they're even worse off. Moves backside this time around. It's not Jerk you gotta deal with, it is them, and Jerk is a different threat from CT. Beautiful neural theft guides the hand of the Odin, and Flare as well. Utilizing that from the shadows to only bolster the support. Is able to take one, but trade it out, so he settled the dust with a 2v2.
Crazy bloodbath. 1v1. A lot on the shoulders of Giza. They're looking in the wrong direction, though. Infiltrator is as quick as a flash on those shots. Brilliance incarnate. And so is Winthrop University, confidently striding into a half that is theirs, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult situation, right? Like, you were stalled out so long by all the antics, the moves, utility, the Jerk Odin spray, even Flare's ultimate, and you're like, they could have had time to be anywhere if you're Infiltrator. And I think Market, when you knew they were opping, was probably the last place you would have expected them. Excuse me, but they swapped out the weapon, eager to take the fight, and eager to keep the flawless ascent alive for Winthrop right now. And we've seen this new adaptation, this new duo with the Sage Ball over towards A main. It's yet to be peeked into here, and they've entrusted Flare to Tree instead. And I'm wondering if that's going to bite them here later on. It would have, but moves! Bro, this man's just confident.
No, I don't blame them. And because they know that they're going to be getting the reinforcements from Tree, Jerk doesn't care. You just fire through the wall. There's only one place they can go, and that's all through mid. They didn't go towards moves. They didn't go towards the Tree players. Giza! Show off for a second there, buddy. You at least got yourself on the... You got a couple of cool clips there, but it's not enough to give Winthrop University any sweat on their brow.
Yeah. Again, just... it's just... Maryville is clearly struggling. Winthrop's like trying to push thing like what is the most that they can do, right? Like, and get away with, right? We've seen, for example, moves do that mid pressure. Now they've done main and the tiles pressure, and all of these can get easily punished if Maryville knows they're coming or has players posted up, but they're so worried about just getting this ball rolling and playing the objective, just trying to get onto these sites, that just Winthrop's overwhelming them here. And look at this round, the Jet is pushing out into mid! Like, yes, you have your bodyguard of your Sage here, but now the quick pivot, we'll see if the Sage can get back in time, especially when here's these deadlock protocols that we talked about.
That paranoia is done so perfectly, but Flare caught inside of the net, offering them up to Rins for free. That recon bolt sees exactly where Wildfire was set up, though. Stuck at Dice, nowhere to go. It is a firing squad on the high ground, but Cloric still has the fight left inside of them to take something here. Rins, you are surviving. Infiltrator, they're just showing off now, Zobi. You whip out the shorty to go for the headshot kill. They still get the spike planted, but my God.
And I love this wall, you know, try and splinter the remaining players. And I mean, that clone is nice, but it reveals where the last player is. Infiltrator knows to guide the Blades into hell, and they basically sent Maryville there with them. I mean, 9-0 so far here. Every round they recover their weapons. I mean, we don't even have to see creativity from the Sage walls. It's just standard walls having really clean impact in rounds that are close, right? We've had a series of very even retake attempts, 3v3s, 2v2s, and it's always Winthrop to come out on top of them.
Coming from that round, though, Infiltrator was playing out of their mind. We were talking about the flashy play so far. That was everything you could want from your Jet, right? And the awareness from this player to know what is happening at all times is an understatement and a reason why we are understanding how they've been able to make it through so far in challengers and why they've been undefeated so far in the Division 1.
It feels like they're just taking their anger out from falling short in challengers at this point. We finally get to see that Sage Wall in action. It's not the Jet with an off. It's Nazi this time. And that's your big post plant agent gone, your deadlock site support. And I mean, now Ren, with that gate crash, has been spotted over towards A main, alone, pinned in a corner. This is the only relief they're going to get, is these players busting through the sage wall in a tree. And now you would have had a pitch play, but look at Flare, off of that Hunter Fury.
You have Infiltrator waiting at Wine, and they see Chloric shot start. They see Chloric go for a small shoulder peek, and they are going to try and bait them out, but that quick jump peek is going to show them everything that they need to know. Infiltrator, they've been seen. Chloric is... They know they're being toyed with, but while all of them... Whatever. You know what? Whatever. Infiltrator. I get it.
It's a no scope, but
I
quick
get it.
scope. Just as impressive. As it's double digits here for Winthrop, 10-0. And I mean, I said I was gonna be worried about the attack with the double sentinel, but I mean, if you're 12-0, there's not much to worry about in that second half, Sam.
No. I don't think we also talked that this is Maryville's map pick.
Bro, production did not have to remind us that right now, or remind the viewers.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't.
Oh.
The biggest issues, I think, is that we're seeing the flaws of the double sentinel on attack. Oh, Chloric. Oh, Chloric. They saw. This is Winthrop University. Their entire team has clumped up together, and they're just saying, Moogs, we know what you're capable of, buddy. Just back off. We'll come over. We'll help you out. It's okay. Trust us.
Just now playing the retake game as well. This is a little dangerous because they do have the lockdown online, and they use the Hunter's Fury last round, so there's no way to counter it necessarily here, right? Especially without a KO per se. This is dangerous. So Wildfire surviving the close scope, literally dodging a bullet.
I can't believe this. Now they're gonna fight it. That lockdown is out in the open, Zobi. They weren't in the flank from behind, and now Nazi gonna undo the damage that was done to Jerk. They're back up to 5 players. Gonna go for the retake. Giza is trying to put in a show and a half, but a 3K has put it all to bed. One player left alive, all on the shoulder of Rins, all on the duelist. Infiltrator is getting the defuse of the spike. Rins, you gotta go for the blade, buddy. You got the defuse, Zobi. Oh, the nail in the coffin.
I like the angle. They just couldn't see if they were on or not, and they're like, what are the odds that they're on? They had a little bit of time left, and oh my god, just the fact that they can't even wallbang it from that angle, right? They were trying to take the angle on Dice, and they were just so afraid to losing a round that they were. That's the closest they've been, right? And it's still robbed away with Winthrop keeping here on Flawless. And I mean, if you're Giza at this point, you gotta be feeling bad. I feel like they've been the players setting up their team on so many of these close rounds just to get them dashed away.
Oh.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, Rins. Yeah, Rins. I think the frustration really is starting to set in for this team. Moves insanity towards trying to take that fight. Winthrop University feeling very confident, but they've also been in situations like this many a times. They know, though, where this Omen likes to go. They TP inside a boathouse every single time. And now, Infiltrator, you've been kind of a god on the battlefield, buddy, but you're going to have to put in some overtime right now. Finally! In the final round of the first half, Zobi, Maryville University is going to get their first round. They just got to do it 11 more times.
Yeah, I mean, the way Infiltrator was playing that, they were like, this is fine, we're gonna lose this round. Just going for the nice shot, the updraft over the walls, like, you think your walls can stop me, and hopefully see that this half as well. We talked about a double Sentinel dynamic for both of these teams, right? And I do think, I can't answer to you if the Cypher Sage or the Killjoy Deadlock is a better equipped for the defense. I'm leaning towards Winthrops just because you look at Maryville's and you're like, okay, Annihilation, Lockdown, these are really good for attack initiation plays. And those are lacking here for Winthrop. So I think this is the half for Maryville, but like you mentioned, they have to do it with no air.
Very slim margins, Zoe. Not quite as slim as a 12-0 for the first half, but it may as well just be. And Winthrop University has one thought on their mind. Let's push this as fast as we can. They're on top of the wall. It's just waltz out. That is disgusting what we're getting from this team. No recourse. Nobody lost on the attempt to follow through.
Zero remorse. They want the pistol. They want the map point. They want that qualification spot to nationals on the fast track. I mean, it's a 2v4 here. Deadlock, Omens, maybe smoke off, try and isolate some of these plays, but look at this. They know where players, they're all flocking to them.
That's crazy.
And I mean, they're just taking fights that, like, in your right mind, like, you wouldn't take, but they're just so confident that they're gonna win them anyways.
Infiltrate. Built diff.
17-6. I mean, all the players have insane KDAs right now.
Yeah. And
like, oh no, Moobs, you're 11 and 11.
Player, you gotta step it up, buddy. 10 and 7. Come on. Right?
Come on. Yeah.
Sheesh. No, I mean, that's the thing, though. And that really goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that this entire team is doing everything so well. And then we have Nasi with that Grimwall, right, at that window position. It's just so nasty. And there's not going to be any change in the plans for Winthrop University. Get in their face. Maryville, on the flip side, is going to go for this gamble buy. They have to. When you have a second round buy from Jerk, really, what do you do at this point, right? What do you do if you're Maryville?
Oh.
This is Winthrop's territory. This is Winthrop's home, and they are not going to suffer anymore.
And I mean, I talked about it in the agent select, right? The Sage Wall. Like, you're not used to looking in that window anymore because Sage has since departed from the meta, but they're proving you should have been wary. I mean, Wildfire 23 HP, Flare's coming to clean up their mess. Angie's probably spotted out in the market at this point. I mean, it's over. The team ace, of course, to finish it off and drive our point home that this was a team effort to dominate in the debut map of Ascent in this best of 5 grand finals.
13 and 1, Zobi. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Want to change your prediction?
I was gonna ask that. Can I go 3-0 real quick? I still have faith in Maryville.
That's mine. That's mine.
Yeah, that's yours. That's yours. You may be
but
right on this one.
What map are they gonna win? Abyss or Haven? Like, I cannot see. I was hyping them up like, okay, Abyss. Like, they now know. Like, there should be no surprise when it comes to Winthrop. You played them twice on the map recently. Like, but it's the track record. So what do you think?
That's what has me worried now. Right, Zobi, is
I think a Haven they would have to win. They'd have to reverse sweep it. That's mine. That's in my mind.
Because so far for Abyss, that's kind of Winthrop's map, right? Every time we look at it, it's been very spicy for them. It's been usually pretty decent score averages for them as well. And not only that, but when we talked to them at DreamHack, we were like, "So what you got cooking for Abyss?" And they were like, "Oh, it's gonna, it's gonna be crazy." So even stepping forward all the way back to then, or stepping backwards all the way to then and into the now, this is going to be tough for Maryville. I don't think there's any other way to talk about that. And the stat line, even more so, is going to show us that 13 and 1, that Winthrop is coming out not only swinging, but with a fury from challengers, I think.
Yeah, come on, Infiltrator. Only 300 ACS. Either way, it's just insane that all these players literally pulled their weight. Like, 1 round difference, and like any of these players could have been the top frag. And again, Giza had some insane pop-off moments, but it just wasn't enough. And it kind of also drove the point home that I've kind of had an opinion of this. Yoro as a solo duelist is such a hard role to fill. And I think, like, I kind of mentioned this in the agent select that they were kind of running the M80 SR style composition, but I think they run that with the Cypher, not the Killjoy as well. So I would love to, like, watch this VOD back, and if there is much to analyze, kind of say, like, okay, what were some of the difference? Why did it struggle so much compared to the success those teams have had? But for now, you just got to cut your losses and reset and move on to Abyss, Sam.
Yeah, cut your losses and really get your head back on straight going into this break, Zobi. But before we do, I want to say a big thank you to Winzel's Farm as well as G Fuel. Make sure to go and check out both of our amazing sponsors who help make this possible here at NECC. And if you want to, you can even use our code NECC20 at checkout for G Fuel to save 20% off of your order. But Zobi, when we come back from the break, right, it's still a best of 5 series, so there's at the very least 2 more maps to go. Maryville University has a long road ahead of them right now, it feels like. For Abyss, this break is going to have to be everything for them to be able to figure out what they need to do to get that victory. So we'll find all of that out and more when we come back.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Is a dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was worth it.
man. This is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach, hug him up.
He's breathing. I think it's on the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
Okay, well, this grand final so far, Zobi, has been nothing short of a Winthrop game so far, at the very least for map 1 that went 13-1, Winthrop versus Maryville. So, Zobi, something's got to change for Maryville going into Abyss.
And that is the mom buff. No, I'm joking. I shout out to Cleric's mom, always here for all the games. It was a rough map 1, but when you got the support behind you, I think they have what it takes to bounce back. And I'm still carrying what I said in the pre-show. You know, dismiss the Ascent performance. I think, like I said, Ascent, they hadn't played each other on this map. And this was a map that, number 1, was warm-up. Number 2, like, they kind of played it spottily throughout the season. It was not a very consistent map for them. And Abyss was consistent even outside of the Winthrop games for Maryville as well. So they know how to play it. They should know as well how Winthrop likes to play it. Unless we see them switch up their comp on the fly again. If they do that, Sam, good luck, Maryville.
Yeah. Well, the way that you can see it, right, is since you're in a best of 5 and
Yes.
you've got to pick a map, you're not going to pick Split or Pearl since they've just got reintroduced. You don't have the strategies for it necessarily. So you start off with Ascent, your worst map. You pick it yourself. You're done with it at the very least. And so then you go into your next 4 maps feeling a little bit more confident. Abyss is still that one map where we're guessing that it's still going to be Winthrop victory here. And so if you're Maryville, you're looking at doing the best you can to survive into Haven as well as you can, I guess you could say, for your mentals. But still, we have the agent character select for our map of Abyss. And yeah, this is pretty standard for what we've gotten out of the teams if you take a look at their match history.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I believe our names, Ski Doodles, are swapped. I'm assuming, I believe, if I remember right, like my knowledge serves me, that Winthrop does run the Gecko, so I think it's Maryville is still keeping the single Yoru. So a little interesting to see if it's gonna work out on this map instead of Ascent. But regardless, already in the pistol. Let's see if they can, win a round before the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't waste any time getting into here. Zobi with Maryville on the defense and Winthrop University attacking. And if it is going to go as well as that, if Infiltrators go, oh, they heard the shot from Rins, and it's like blood in the water. Look, the entire team is here, being very smart about taking their fights, right? The entire team is clearing all of the corner except for that one. Whoa!
What? You're saying, Sam?
Anyways,
Just so fast we didn't see it. Blinking, you missed it.
Yeah, right?
They cleared the corner. What do you mean? And they're on for a flawless. Moves doing trick shots. The man who got 7 first bloods over their duelist, in the last map here. And then look, they're trying to keep it flawless. Not like this, Cloric. Come on, do your mama proud. Deny the flawless. Nope. The 3-piece for Infiltrator. I mean, we got fans in chat saying it. We're saying it. They are just on a different level tonight.
Zobi, there's locked in, and then there's whatever Winthrop is right now. Right?
Yeah.
They've locked in, they've thrown away the key, they've added in an extra padlock somewhere along the way. This is undeniable what Winthrop has been able to do, continuing the streak that they had on Ascent that was broken up by just 1 round. But this pistol is showing off their confidence, and we're having a gamble stack from Maryville on A. Winthrop is just, let's have fun on B.
Oh, yeah. Gamble stack, incorrect. Does have the spy cam, so they can be like, okay, guys, we gotta hightail it over there. But when you hightail it over there, you're gonna find maybe the final raid boss themselves. The moves at least only has the deagle. Like, they're confident, but they're smart. They're not gonna waste funds where they don't have to. And suddenly, moves might be getting overwhelmed here. There's players in their own spawn, but they can calm this. Look at the reposition here from Jerk. Playing off that Astro utility, we know. Like, they're still not taking risks they don't have to. And that's what I'm liking about the dominance from Winthrop.
Yeah, Moves is at 4 HP,
no.
so 1 shot is all that's going to be needed to take care of them, but it's so hard to grab this sneaky and pesky Cypher. Eventually brought to heal, but guess what? Jerk is still alive. They ran out of ammo on the Guardian. Had to switch over to the Sheriff, but it wasn't quick enough. The only problem for Maryville is that they're running against a timer.
No.
They're running against Infiltrator, who's still alive, by the way, on a 3K. And Ange is going all over the place, but there is no way they're going to be able to get the spike defused or even take anyone else off. And so sacrifice themselves to the spike, or maybe grab Infiltrator on the way out.
There you go. Yeah. I was about to say, don't want to give any orbs over to them, but even that death is going to be trying to supercharge that Blade Storm here in a minute. But look at the confidence again coming out of the buys of Winthrop, right? Yes, they walk away with 2 players because of that creative flank play. What are they going to do? Full buy up the rest of the way here. Minus, like I said, Infiltrator. Look, I think dying there for Infiltrator was better than surviving. Because then they got the ult to her. now they're 1-0 from the Blade Storm, and I'm like, sure you're gonna see it this round because they want to go for another flawless streak.
Yeah, and Maryville has spread themselves out across the map, and so if Cloric, the tip of the spear here for this team, isn't able to stop Infiltrator from grabbing that ultimate orb, it's not going to go their way, right? And you hear it, Cloric heard it, but it's not going to be good enough to stop them. The blades have been popped once they come out on the other end of that 0-point knife. This is going to be through hell or high water that Maryville is about to wade through.
Oh, and moves again. Cotton Island maybe starting to pick out those tendencies from Ascent carrying over here into the attack. And here we go, Infiltrator. I said it, the Blade Storm, the full blind, the updraft. I mean, Cloric full blinded as well from the Dizzy. Like, that is a textbook jet entry, facilitated by your Gecko. And now they've gotten gun upgrade. Wildfire?
They're inside of the Smug
way.
Wildfire, putting on the heroic cape to bring Maryville back into the fight where things were looking so scary. And then Jerk just rips the cape off. Giza has been seen by the Recon Bolt, and they know that they got to take this fight. It's Jerk though, right? It's NECC. You're gonna have to go up against the two of them, and with all of this Astra utility, anything that you try to do here, if your Giza is going to have to be fought against. The perfect swing from the two players, abusing their numbers, has sailed Winthrop through another bonus round.
I thought for a second Wildfire was about to, burn a hole in the record that Winthrop has worked to try and uphold after that Ascent performance, but even that is not enough. So again, it's feeling like individual performance is not going to get Maryville across the line like it might have in some of their other matchups, but as the silence befalls the lobby, I mean, it speaks for itself here. Winthrop, we said it, like this map, it's so hard to tell what Maryville is going to be able to win.
Jerk's just grabbed the first blood, and then NECC's gonna run across the field. That almost felt like they were running and gunning Zobi. I don't know. We looked away at just the last second, but it's almost bullying Maryville at this point. Winthrop is just an unstoppable force. And I've said of nature, but I feel like they're transcending beyond what's possible now at this point.
Okay, there we go. Moves. This time a lot of it really late into the round here, and I mean, they just get one because Infiltrator, like, make it look easy. Like they've been playing Valor since the day they were born. Just insane little shot, done, dusted. You're on your fourth round, and I mean, we've seen accidental FFs. Just Maryville accidentally used it instead of a timeout. Like, oh, we're so really into Abyss. Like, there's nothing really like to break down. Like, I felt like Maryville was doing a good job, right? Like, finding moves, taking them out of the picture, and obviously we swap sides as well, so we get to see them more. So on the defense, more than we got to see obviously over on Ascent. But Winthrop's just fearlessly diving into these sites, and even if Ren's gets their ones, they need more than that. And there we go, Giza at their side. This could be the turn that we need.
This is what scares me about Winthrop, though, Zobi, right? Even if they get first blooded, they still are so phenomenal at taking the fight back against Maryville and filling in the gaps of their lost teammate. The good news here, though, is that Hunter's Fury, though not getting a kill, still did damage to two players from Winthrop. And so hopefully Maryville still has that fight back left in them from Infiltrator, and things are looking very well set up for this team to be able to take the rest of the three players that are still alive for Winthrop.
Alright, Nazi getting out of dodge here. You still have the Astra playing that post point. You still have the Thrash as well. So I agree the tides are changing for Maryville since they still have 5 players alive, but you gotta get the spike, and Giza is gonna try and achieve just that. The really late wrap around the tripwire. Even if they can't get the ace, right, their trapwire just secured the round. Jerk going for the save, ensure that they're not gonna get that ace to get the mental into the right state. And it's Maryville on the board.
At least it didn't take 11 rounds this map, Zobi. That's the biggest talking point for Maryville. They got online, they figured out what they needed to do to stop Maryville, creative usage of that Hunter's Fury, when Flare was inside of their ultimate using Thrash, and then not only that, but pinging Infiltrator 2 on top of it. So you grab the first blood, you continue that momentum carrying forward with the Hunter's Fury, and then let Giza go crazy. Right, and it was just one after another, and finally for Maryville, point on the board.
Renz, we saw this last round. They didn't quite spot out because Giza took the front of the battle. Now, once the cage fades, it's all gonna come down to the 1v1, and Renz starting to come alive. An easy frag, an easy teleport out, and they go unscathed. And that's your main lurk player, aside from the Astra in the late round, gone as well. Wildfire, not even recognizing they might be about to stare down Nazi, who's holding down Trapwire instead, waiting for this play from Renz or from Wildfire. Oh! There we go.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, Nazi. Break the vent, only to swing back out of it. Meanwhile, Jerk is waging a one-man army on A side. Finally, the rest of the team is going to come and reap the rewards that this Astra has given to them. Quick recon bolt from Nazi's. Gonna find out someone's over here, and you know it's gonna be Renz because you saw the clones coming in your direction. And now it falls to the shoulder of Giza, who got the 4K from the previous round. Just gotta do it again this round, buddy.
And when Jerk is trying to get aggressive as well, clear out the corners, the wrong angle though. There they are. Little swing from Danger. And aside from that, I mean, Nazi, the 3 kills. I mean, they're being more lethal on the Sova now than they were on the battle stage.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on anymore. This is just next level from Winthrop. They're taking a lot of fights, but more importantly, they're winning them. And I mean, I don't think there's any better evidence of that than sending Jerk alone to A main, where they get a double kill, right? Not only did you win in mid, you won on A, and then you just coalesce, reform back together as a unit, and then push your way back out, either through vents or doing what Jerk was and figuring out where the final player was. Maryville had the answer in the previous round, but if they can't get those early picks, it just all falls apart.
Oh, Renz depends on their teammate to try and stay posted up with the operator. Fortunately, the gate crash out might keep the gun occluded from the knowledge pool for Winthrop and how they want to navigate this half. But I mean, they don't even realize an Infiltrator had the same idea in the same round number 7. The shots rain out. They know at this point what they are in store for, but they didn't know they were in store for some A main aggression. The 1-for-1 trades, but you lost your smokes, or your first. Yeah, you lost your smokes if you're Winthrop here in that exchange. And you lost your post plant too, in my mind, because your Astra's been so insane in that regard, just buying time, so you can go for those aggressive plays as Winthrop.
And not only that, but Moves is leaving a trail of blood going over to this A side. That is going to be very useful, though, with the Neural Theft and just having to fire through the smoke. You have no other choice. Lands the headshot to Moves, but they're still going to get the spike planted with Wingman. Unfortunately, though, now there's a spike on an island on the site where it's a 4v3 that Winthrop needs to fight back into. They're still getting a lot of these pickoffs happening here, but it's nowhere near enough. Maryville. It's a little bump in the road from the previous round, but they recovered nicely.
They realized, okay, we don't need 2 ops. But regardless, really nice hold there again from Ange, just waiting for Wildfire to get there. They provide that utility support. And again, just also being willing to throw your life into the mix to deny that entry from Moves with the cage as well. That was a really clean frag as well. Just, again, playing the timings nicely, playing off the distractions, and being able to survive as well when you're fully pinged out by the Neural Theft and a Sova ult flying at you. Just, there we go. Ult's now online, as well as the weaponry. Winthrop instead a little bit shyer here in terms of the cash. That's why the ults are going to come out.
Watching the shot rings out. Hits nobody quite yet, but Giza is still going to be at the forefront of this battle. We know that Wingman is there, and now again, the spike is on the side, but unplanted, and all in the hands of 5 Maryville players. Winthrop University, you're gonna be in for a world of hurt if you try to take this battle. But if you look at Jerk, they're going on a long trip. They're on a mission.
Oh. And I mean, they had the KO watching spawn, so I don't know if the Neural Theft was necessary, but I mean, you just got, you know,
better safe than sorry
bullied on Ascent. Yeah, every round is better safe than sorry at this point, especially because Infiltrator's also alive. Jerk, I mean, we've seen them do wonders, but that's not gonna be enough. The 1-for-1 means it's a 4K for Infiltrator with this op in hand. I was already kind of hesitant on the single duelist operator on the attack half, and for the time being, it's definitely, I think, weakening the strength of some of these execs.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, because Infiltrator has to stay back, right, to get maximum value from this operator. So not going on to the site with the rest of the team is really making things very dicey. Hold on a second, though. Wait for it. Okay. All right. At least we get to see cool shots like that. Infiltrator getting rid of Giza, not protecting through danger, but they still got to take down 3 more players. And not going to get the spike planted at this point, right? There's no more time. The Infiltrator's just playing for as many frags as they can. We're finally hightailing it out of there. Maybe another opportunity could present, but for the moment, Infiltrator is safe.
Yep, saving the operator and by falling off the map at the opportune time. And so they're going to carry that forward. But I'm glad you pointed that out, right? Infiltrator in the backlines can't be that entry. They're depending on players like Moobs, who was like on fire over an Ascent. Like we said, they were filling the shoes of the First Blood machine. And we saw what happened when they tried to be that entry player over towards the A side. It was Ange that just kind of was like, nah, sit. And Giza, on the other hand, like on this defensive half, has been such a staple that I think they've pretty much scared Winthrop away from the B side, right? The 4-piece, that 3-piece, they've been nasty so far this half.
Well, the important thing is, right, you have Rins on this A site with the operator, and because that knife detected Infiltrator with the operator, you know that they're going to be there. Infiltrator's still going to get 1, but I mean, it costs you the lives of 2 of your teammates to get that 1 operator shot off.
Yeah, I mean, that's your wingman, that's your Thrash. I would say your plan for executing this A site may be out the window. So yeah, gotta depend on these secondary players like Moobs, who's going through mid. Feels like I like this trip. I'm gonna have to ask them how to get it. But aside from that, it's gonna have to get destroyed eventually. Giza. And there's the response is what?
Spike down mid.
Infiltrator setting themselves all the way back up. Finally lands the shot.
There's no way
Moves
they win
through
this.
the wall. Through the wall. They may have an opportunity to get the spike planted. Wildfire. Timing there. They could have taken a fight against Moobs, but walked away at just the wrong moment. But I think they are still...
Don't drone. No, the surprise is gone.
They've given it up. The one big saving grace from that, though, is the Cypher Cam would have seen Wildfire. And so the spike is still being unplanted. This gives an opportunity for the rotate to happen. But the only problem is Wildfire doesn't know how many players are there. And so finally, Angie's finally going to move in. But, I mean, what are you going to do when Moobs is popping off like that?
Yeah, again, if they don't get First Blood, they're going to have frags later in the round for sure. And again, I mentioned they kind of destroying that Cypher utility for like Giza is at the core of the success for Maryville on this map right now. Whether they are holding their own B main, whether the utility is spotting out some of these plans. So if you get rid of that utility, like we saw Moobs do, you have to spread a little bit thinner if you're Maryville, and obviously we saw it. Winthrop started slipping through the cracks. I did like that little play from Giza and Wildfire to push through B main once they realized, okay, they're ignoring the B site. But now they've solved that. They've remedied that by having Moobs play here, spy cam and all. I'm hoping that break-in will kind of clue in that Ren's could be there as well.
Yeah, right. Wow. This has been going back and forth. Jerk through the smoke, eliminating Angie, the Omen, and even still with the operator, Ren's is not going to survive the fury of Moobs. Cloric in their ultimate. The null command is still activated. It's still doing its job, but not for too much longer here. 5 more seconds and the KO is out. Moobs trying to go over on the other side, but still, it's a 3v2, an opportunity. It's a possibility for Maryville. The possibilities have just opened wide.
That's a nasty shot. So again, proving that Maryville's not out just yet. It still is a 2v2 as well, but Thrash doesn't find anything. I think this is when, yeah, if you're a Jerk, you want to get out of the premises. Play the win con, play the time, and there's those stars that we wanted to see. Go for the spray down onto the spike, be confident in your crossfire, but you let the spike get to half. You called their bluff and it might not have worked out. The ground
it was bad, it was botched.
Okay, Giza. I mean, bro is literally just trying to prove my theory that they're Maryville's ace right now.
No, yeah, no, this goes beyond that even more so, right, Zobi? I mean, 14-7, you are shouldering the burden of the hopes and dreams of Maryville right now if you're Giza. They're doing so much to give this team legs, and it's just so unfortunate that Jerk misplaced the grab well, right? That could have easily had prevented them from diffusing, but it was just placed too far ahead where Giza, nerves of steel, held and then finished it off with a double kill.
I'm wondering if that's why they were so proud to stick it, like they knew it was misplaced. But speaking of misplaced moves, not expecting Ren's deep into mid. They've, you know, holstered their operator and pulled out the big guns. They're gonna need it. The B site already stormed, disrespecting Giza and their control of this domain. Now you got Dimensional Drift, you got numbers, and look at how low the Gecko is as well.
Yeah, I do like the discipline we got from Winthrop with Flare and that wingman instead of sending it out by themselves. Being a little more cautious about these engagements. Over on the other side,
Flare.
you knew that Flare was still there, even low on HP. They're still going to get their ones over in the flank. Jerk looking to right the wrongs of what happened in the previous half, but the wrongs just keep happening for Winthrop. All the rights for Maryville.
We have a game on our hands, folks. 1 round away from us being tied at the conclusion of the half. I mean, we're starting to see different looks, varying approaches from Maryville, right? We've seen Ren swap sides with the operator. Now we've seen Ren's traveling down mid. And again, it's hard to say like what's going wrong for Winthrop. I think like the tendency I've seen is moves falls early, then they don't have as much kind of impact or draw elsewhere on the map, and they can confidently rotate without concern of a lurk player. Because Jerk only lurks like really late into the round, right? After they've gotten the plant down, they have their util down, they're confident, right? They're not like moves, so it's just anywhere and anywhere during the round. And here we go. Another variant, right? It's the Ren's B main approach. This time, though, I think they realize no one's home. So again, this is what they do. They push through, they clear it out, they make sure there's no Cypher so they can focus fully on this A space.
Yeah, Moves has had enough of being taken out in mid. Gonna grab a first blood. Remember 7 in the previous map, and Nasi popping off with that Bulldog. Wildfire's still on the other side, alive, looking for as much damage and impact as they can take, but if you're trying to go toe-to-toe with Infiltrator, it's always a different story.
There's no Cypher util here. They got past the spy cam. Giza as well. Beautiful neural theft here so that they can prime Rents for the duels they'll have to take. Now they don't have to use any utility to clear out main. Still going for good measure, but I mean, now you know where the last player was. Renz! Insane on the first, but the flick does not connect, and Winthrop still gonna edge ahead with an advantage at the half.
And Winthrop was able to take that round on a lesser vibe, but let's not take away what Maryville was able to accomplish on their defense, right? This is 7-5 against Winthrop, who just 13-1'd you on Ascent, and you can tell that this team feels infinitely more confident than what we saw on Ascent. So many different looks on their defense, and I think a lot of that, we talked a lot about the glory of Giza, but you can also see how Rins adapts every single round. They're never in the same place subsequent rounds in a row. We see them deep in mid, we see them pushing B, we see them opping on A, and so it's this flexibility that we're getting from Maryville that we didn't really get from Ascent that is giving them the legs that they need here on Abyss.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, this new half, it was the attack half where we saw that dominant performance as well. Or sorry, the defensive half is where we saw a dominant performance, right, from Winthrop. So this is where things are gonna get scary. You might get some demons come up from that first map, but Renz is conquering their fears head on. A beautiful enter here. Cloric at their side as well. Means no wingman for the retake. And Renz is still holding this line of skirmish up to the defender spawn.
Yeah, you gotta do what you can as the duelist. Stop them for as long as you can. Infiltrator is so crazy on these headshots with that Sheriff. And now it's just piece by piece, duel by duel, player by player that you got to be taking if you're Winthrop University. Moves caught on the flank. Knows that 2 players are there. Patience, determination, a will of their own. Winthrop University. They lost 2 players on the uptake on the very first few seconds of this round. But give them an inch and they're gonna take a whole freaking mile.
And that's what's so just insane from Winthrop, right? Moves not afraid to flank even when they're Cypher utility, number 1. Number 2, just being able to spot out both of those players and keep them preoccupied gives more confidence to the players on site, saying, okay guys, there's a maximum of 2 players here. And I was also like, wow, this is a perfect setup for Maryville, right? They got players off site to handle the flank, like your Silva, who might have shocks, even though it's a pistol. You have Giza with the really late mid lurk, not going to be known heaven. And just, again, just the presence there allows them to focus on usually cleared angles, and they dislodge every contingency there in that pistol round from Maryville's. And so they're going to keep on the upward kick, keep the lead firmly in their grasp, and Maryville, it wasn't like a terrible AX6, so when you don't have weapons, might as well try it again.
Yeah, right? Oh, Infiltrator get all of the info they need. They spotted Giza. Nasi set up with the Bulldog in case Infiltrator misses. They did the first shot, but not the second. And remember, that's the Outlaw, so all you need to do is land that 1 body shot and you're good to go.
And Jerk might not be a Sentinel, but the next best thing here for holding down this A site. Or, I mean, you got the weapons. Might as well give it up or reclaim it with the rest of your squad. You've seen a presence over here towards B, and you almost fell out of position, fell out of rank. Now they realize it was all a ruse here. Flare, again, trying to fight this. They were a player that knows pretty early, and this would be a huge weapon to give away. So they're going to hold on to it with all of their might. Beautiful distraction backside from Infiltrator, while they find one with the Outlaw Flares, cleaning up the rest. And a near flawless second round bye. It's still Winthrop.
Effectively, it may as well be flawless, right, Zobi? Because the only one that fell was Jerk with a ghost. Oh.
Yep.
What is it? Oh, I know they time it right, but it always sends my heart reeling when I see that, because you're like, wait a minute, did they do? Right? So, yeah, like I said, Jerk was operating only on that ghost, so they're still able to buy up. Look at that.
Vandal.
Regent, Shield, and Vandal, Zobi.
I love this. Like I mentioned prior, like we kind of got to see the inklings of how they're navigating this, right? Fully entrusting Jerk, just like a Sentinel, to hold down the A site. I mean, they have the mechanics behind it. They have the Astrosol utility here as well. And now they have the weapon to put them even with the offenders that are going to come berate their site, if possible. But now it's time for moves to show what a Cypher does best here. Nice little Owl Drone. We'll see what Ren's utility looks like on a B exit, but Infiltrator, he might have been too slow. Now they get to post up as well. Oh my gosh, okay.
That was a brilliantly placed molly that flushed them out, but I mean, the retake from Winthrop is devastating. Every single player falling. Rins down to 1v1. Has to go for the reload. Jerk down on the ground. Spike in front of them. Setting up the gate crash and TP out of there, but brilliant usage at the start.
Oh, no.
Gonna cover their approach in there. They fake the gate crash. But how much does Jerk know of where Rins could be? Both of these players trying to sniff each other out. Jerk, you are crazy. They win these, Zobi. They win these.
Like, you get wallbang to half HP, so suddenly Renz has the advantage, and you decided to re-swing it? And I love that they wait for the certain duel and take it. Like, when they know their enemy. Versus when they had the shenanigans of the double nebula, didn't know, like, I have not seen Renz in this Venn diagram I've set up. I'm gonna, remove myself from the diagram. They back up into Link. Maybe even expecting them to have used that gate crash to get out, right? After collecting the spike, maybe rotating A, who knows? But it works. They get another round, and they get double digits here on map 2.
Now Moves is just gonna walk forward. They're blocking the Yoru, and they get a double kill. They may have fallen, but I mean, heck, you just call over to the reinforcements. Hey, guys, it's that recon bolt is disgusting. It saw everything that they needed to, and I mean, we're seeing headshot after headshot after headshot, and Infiltrator can't be left out of the kill feed. They're gonna be in the kill feed, not in the way they thought, but hey, you know what? Winthrop mops off the rest. And that is a crazy round that was basically on the backs of two players.
Move is #1 aggressive duelist. I mean, what we just saw from them is what Renz was doing last half, right? When they have the safety of a gate crash to get away, they say, "Nah, I'll take this. I'll live by the Sentinel rule. You take 2 when you die, or you get 1 and get off the site for the retake." And Move should not have been able to get to there, right? You have literally the max information you can have from that dimensional drift, and 2 players have their knives out in an angle that could easily be swung. Like, it just feels like, in addition to Winthrop being so clean tonight, Maryville's making these small mistakes that I'm sure they did not make when they were defeating previous collegiate kings, like Northwood, like Tamu.
This is a stark difference, again, with what we're getting from Winthrop. The team that just keeps on giving. Now they're going to give up first blood to Angie. Jerk's on the other side of the smoke. I don't know if they expect this either, right? They shot through Jerk's smoke, and they're still going to hold this position. That's kind of crazy, Zobi. Because once that first smoke goes away, yeah, exactly. Rinse is going to be so ready for that fight. Player, knowing on the other side of this is going to be a lot of players that want them dead. Blinded out, but not for long. Just coming out of it on the other side. Oh, the collat. It's devilish, it's destructive, and most of all, it's getting Maryville a message, Zobi. The Flare is on a 4K, give me the ace, Ange.
Oh my gosh. Wingman is gonna spot them out, maybe? Oh, it's my, no, the angle, no ace to be seen. And now it is a 1v2 after all of that, right? Like, this is a very winnable situation despite the catastrophe that Flare rained down upon them. I mean, Spike is easily in your grasp. Yet that orb, and you also have a From the Shadows to go to the B
30
site,
seconds
which I think is why we have the Sova this deep into B main, right? They expect to go to the site, they can get the element of surprise, but instead, it's going to be a lesson in clearing corners, and unfortunately, you just failed your lesson. Infiltrator gets Winthrop to map point here on Abyss.
I talked about that Winthrop not clearing their corners, but then Nasi just flicks over and makes it look so easy. Angie didn't quite have the same idea in their head. And so yeah, now we're on match point. Like you said, the thing here for Maryville is they gotta scrap together something, but the impact that one player from Winthrop continues to have in each of these rounds cannot be understated, right? Jerk did it in a previous round by themselves on the attack half, and now we're seeing Flair do the same thing here with that 4K on the defense. This team is just showing up over and over in massive ways.
All right, well, I mean, they have been, but now they've taken down Raid Boss, Infiltrator out. A duelist battle goes the way of Rens here. They've been like the master of mid, and they are continuing to uphold that title. Second kill, a third kill. Flair, you just got denied your ace. Can you get your team back in saddle here for this round? The answer was a Stark, yes, but Rens is now on for the ace. Low HP, Jerk was the one who beat them out in the 1v1 clutch. Cover the spike, dimensional drift, play the objective. I mean, look at how deep your Omen is through B, and trust them to deal with Jerk because you're not going to expect them there, right? Right? Yeah.
Ooh, thank God. Okay. No ace for Rens, but it doesn't matter because you won the round. Your team is still alive. Your team is still in there. And stopping Winthrop from taking map number 2 of Abyss. You only got to double your score line to bring us into overtime if you're Maryville. Which, when we think about it all the way on Ascent, is definitely a lot better than the 11-1, but it's still that razor's edge they have to precipitously climb.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some funny narratives in chat, right? Like from Winthrop, right? Trying to egg Maryville on, and Maryville just not responding. Like, they're locked in, like you mentioned, 6 rounds needed in a row to get themselves to overtime here. Infiltrator? You have an updraft? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, that's poetic.
A little bro is just going for
Imagine that was Maryville's neural theft, right? And they just see Infiltrator like hundreds of yards away from the map. You know, I'm okay. I like that aerial view of this kind of duel. And I mean, Maryville's just respect. We interrupt our regular scheduled broadcast to observe Infiltrator in their natural habitat. Wait, the sound cue though of that.
Yeah, eventually Infiltrator finally understands that gravity is a law that needs to be respected. Took some time to happen, but I'm sure Maryville has to be wondering what's going on there. Anyways, moves in the flank. No one knows. Completely unaware, completely undetected. But it doesn't matter because Winthrop University, even with their duelist sailing off into the sunset, has brought us into the second map victory for Winthrop.
Exactly. They rode off into the sunset, trusting their team to close out map number 2. And I mean, I asked you that question, Sam, right before this map. I was like, do we think it's Abyss or Haven that the comeback would happen? And I said it had to be the reverse sweep. Because like I trusted in Maryville and their ability to adapt, but Winthrop's just showing up tonight. So it was gonna be hard, and I mean, I think that was definitely fulfilled. I think back to Haven, I feel like a basic map, there's not gonna be any trickery, there's no new real new metas, unless you count the neon. It's gonna be nerfed soon, bless. But who knows what we're gonna get out of Winthrop at this point, Sam?
I don't know anything anymore, Zobi, because of the way that they've been playing. It was the first half that had a jet attacking operator, so you know the disrespect is there. They know that they're confidently striding. And then eventually, right, we got into the 7-5 first half, but then going into the attack half, or sorry, rather defense half for Winthrop, a completely different story that was being written. And we are going to get the stat lines for this game. Rent's putting up some numbers though, right? Along with Giza, but I mean, 6 first bloods for you, Yoru. Nothing to sneeze at. Then we go over to Winthrop, where they are, again, even across the board, Zobi. It's every single player putting in their work, and I feel like we could have had a highlight reel from any of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we almost got our ace as well from Flair there, denied. But aside from that, again, it's just like the fact that it's so well-rounded, right? Like, even if Infiltrate only has 2 first bloods, you have Moobs with 3, you have Jerk with 4. Like, just the anchor ability here, really, really clean. And again, I'm going back and I got to parallel Haven to Ascent real quick. Because Ascent was one of those maps we hadn't seen a lot out of these two teams during the season, right? And Haven is a very similar story. Literally, both of these teams played it in their first match of the season and have not played it since.
A little crazy when you think about it for the collegiate special map.
I know, right? Like
Yeah.
they were like Winthrop especially was like, Lotus is gone. We can't cheat on them with the other 3-side map here.
Well, the good news is for Winthrop, it's coming back in relatively short order, so they get to look forward to that at the very least. But we also get to look forward to this upcoming break, Zobi, where there is a lot on the line if you're Maryville. The reverse sweep has to begin here now in this best of 5 series. Otherwise, Winthrop is going to be your grand champion, punching their ticket home to the LAN event in a 3-0 fashion. And for you, your prediction looking pretty good right now, Zobi. That's all I gotta say. I do gotta say this though. Big thank you to Winzel's Farm for being a part of NECC and helping to make this possible, as well as G Fuel. If you want to save 20% off your G Fuel order, go to NECC20. I believe the command code in chat is !G Fuel. I may or may not be right about. Yes, okay. So it is !G Fuel. So make sure to go and check out that link. Save 20% off your G Fuel order. And I know for right now, Zobi, some G Fuel is definitely what we need to keep going through this insanity of a series. So get your G Fuel, get your Winzel Farms jerky, and come and join us after this break.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I got to take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
One more map is all that stands between Winthrop and the glory of a grand champion title here at NECC. But for Maryville, the reverse sweep in this best of 5 series has to begin now on our third map of Haven's Obi. One that, we don't have a lot of data to work off on, but we, got to cobble together something here.
No, for sure. And I mean, don't get us wrong. Like we said it, like Maryville is now on an uphill battle. But it definitely feels like this is the final step to that top of the mountain, and the rest of it's downhill after that, right? A lot easier. Because we mentioned it, Sunset Bind. Those are the maps that are really comfortable for them. Those are the maps they took off of Tamu. That's the map they've taken off of Winthrop before in a dominant 13-5 fashion. But again, if you lose a Haven here, you don't get those opportunities to play your favorite maps. So again, we go back to maybe how the maps really heavily favored Winthrop, or it felt like they did. And Haven, like I mentioned, haven't played since the beginning of the season, other than here and there in challengers, which give us something to work off of. But Winthrop's been spicing things up the entire time anyways. So no clue here, Sam.
Yeah, it's all up in the air. We could be seeing the possibility of the current incarnation of Neon before they get hit with the Nerf bat, I think, in a few days too. So might be the last opportunity to see them in all of their glory. A map that really favors the Neon, especially breaking out on the site as quickly as they can, abusing the slide as much as you possibly can. But there's also, this map is a really phenomenal one for Yoru as well, which we've seen that Maryville heavily favors a lot. We've seen it on Ascent now and on Abyss. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get the Yoru pick from that team again going into Haven. And then you look over towards the rest of the agent composition that we could have for both of these teams. We'll probably get more of that standard Haven composition once we get the agent select coming up here in a minute.
Yeah, and Red's definitely put up a better case, I think, for the singular Yoru on map 2 compared to that Ascent game, because I'm still not convinced on it. And I think Maven's especially a map where you don't want a solo Yoru, even if it's paired with like, a Neon or an ISO or something of that caliber, even maybe sometimes a Jet. But maybe what we need to see is just a mirror comp duke it out battle, because it has been drastically different comps, it feels like, in both of these first 2 maps, right? You know what would be like the best conclusion ever, though, would be the Resurrection comp out of Winthrop. That'd just be a great send-off to get their 3-0, especially with the Phoenix changes. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah,
Give us some spice. We
get the Resurrection comp all running regen shields. Just to really go crazy with it. That'd be, I mean, that'd be kind of the out of the left field, out of the ballpark kind of thinking that maybe this could be something for Maryville to surprise Winthrop, but it all comes down to the comfortability of what this team can bring us on Haven. And very important that they bring that, whatever they got, to Haven, because this is the series point map for Winthrop University. This is the final map that they need to win. And Ascent, right? Crazy. 13-1. Abyss, a little less crazy. 13-6. But that's still an impressive scoreline to put up for what is the grand finals here in NECC Div 1. So finally into agent select for Haven. And Infiltrator's already popping off.
Oh,
yes, there we go.
I called it. Give me the jackpot. I said the mirror comp. That was the only thing I had to go off of, was that this is the comp that Winthrop's been running in challengers, and it is kind of like the new meta accepted composition. It's like the new safe kind of selection, it feels like, versus previously it was probably just like the Jet. And I'm excited to see them in equal territory, on equal footing, right? It really is going to come down to now play style and individuals, and I mean, if the players are sitting their stride for Maryville, I think they're only warming up with each map.
The fun part about this too for Infiltrator and Rins is that we've seen them on the same duelist for both maps, right? And so a good opportunity to see which one is going to rise above and be that better Neon, the one who's able to put her to most use. So map number 3 of Haven, Winthrop University on series points, starting on the defense against Maryville University, who needs to begin the reverse sweep here, or it's all over, beginning on the attack.
And fun fact, we're swapping sides every single map for this best of 5. So like you mentioned, here we go. Attack Maryville, Rens, be in that entry, diving in. They're a little bit ahead of the rest of their team, but it doesn't matter. They're being granted 1v1s, the up close frenzy. It does give Flare a chance to toss themselves over with their dark cover, but now they're going to get pinched. Rens strikes back out of Garage, and Maryville, this is a statement way to start off your Haven.
It really is. Oh, clean headshot from Giza. Needs to take care of the final player. Saw them with their cam. Got 4K, jerk. And now caught by the second headshot from the Cypher. A flawless Maryville round. Not only flawless, Obi, but look at those health bars. Clean, intact. It couldn't have been done any better by Maryville. And that is the, I think, step up that you need going into map number 3.
I gotta be the comedian I am. This is the first time they've been leading this series, yeah!
Oh, Zobi, you didn't have to do them like that!
I love both of these teams, okay, guys. I'm not gonna help my bias here, but I had to. It's just too funny. But that's exactly what they need, right? Is to have that confidence under their win in the bye, get the ball rolling early on. Especially, like I said, like the even compositions here could be the difference maker. And when you're, you know, dropping a player that smokes that early on, and you're forced out Buckies on the opposite side of the map, it's gonna get a lot more difficult.
Renz just feels so confident on the Neon. From what we saw on Yoru to this agent is next level. They're sliding in, they're running all over the place, they're doing Neon jump techniques that make you curse the day that this agent was buffed in the way that they were. They're gonna be slowed down by the fault line for just a moment, but again, you're Neon. You get out of these situations so easily, and then you reposition yourself back in towards anyone flooding through CT. It's a 4v5 that Winthrop University has to fight against, but one by one, the pieces are falling into place for Maryville University with each and every player that they take away from Winthrop. And as the timer continues to tick away, Winthrop is running out of those opportunities, and instead, electing to die by the spike.
Yeah, and it's flawless as well. And the fact that I think this is like, next to, I think, that second half ascent buy out of Winthrop, this is the heaviest second round buy we've had this series, right? So Maryville was like priming themselves for this third round conversion, right? They want to set up their own streak, their own run. We said it, Haven. I feel like when like all the cards are against you, that adrenaline's at a high, like, you know, like this map is do or die, you see the best come out of players. And I think that's why we see so many reverse sweeps come to that map number 5. And that's when some teams just wrestle it back and close things out where they could have in 3 maps. But now weapons in hand, a little light shield, so it feels like Maryville's slightly favored. Probably credit to those Bucky purchases from Winthrop, but let's see. I mean, Cypher utility here again. If C is working, it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that shock dart stops moves from being able to take advantage of it. They get rid of Renz, but the rest of Maryville is able to trade it out almost immediately. Flares here by themselves, they get rid of the trip that was set up, but it also tips their hand to knowing that this omen was set up. Nasi blinded out, they're stuck in the corner. My God, Maryville firing on all cylinders. Jerk, you made it look possible for a split second there, buddy. But Maryville is looking like Winthrop did on the first 2 maps. And now we go back into it for a continuing Maryville streak that is now 3-0, accomplishing the bonus round. And for Winthrop, look at this. The buy isn't quite there. It's going to be a Bulldog, 2 Sheriffs, a Stinger, make that 3 Sheriffs. So a lot on the line here for Winthrop to try and do something. But now we're seeing an adaptation from Maryville, where they've been pushing so aggressively onto C site, now changing things up and pushing A. But on the other side of this brick line is going to be Infiltrator. Good shots with the Stinger, but not enough. It only takes out the 1. It did do a hell of a lot of damage to Renz. Now you've got Giza holding down the lurk, and this Winthrop University squad has been demolished. Maryville University now pivoting away from the A site and setting up to begin the flood in through C, either from garage or main. And the good part about this is, right, no Cypher, no Cypher utility, no trips, no cam, nothing to stop this Neon from dominating on this side of the map. And no signs of life here on this C site is helping Maryville out massively, right? They're going to be able to plant down the spike pretty easily. The good news is for Winthrop, we are seeing some weapons come back online. We got a Phantom in the hands of Nasi, but you're needing to win the 4v2. Winthrop's no strangers to these kinds of numbers disadvantage, but this one feels just an extra bit special, especially Nasi being caught by that paranoia, needs to get out of dodge. Now, Maryville knows that this team is here. Oh my God, Renz. Devastating as always.
Yeah. And it's a 1v4. They're tracking down Flare. Maryville, whew, I mean, that's what's so interesting, right? Even in the record, the last time these 2 teams faced in the upper finals, right? Like, if it was close games, there's that weird 13-5 on Sunset, and then Winthrop wins out map 3. So is that this lull that Maryville needs to hit their stride and hit those maps that they are comfortable on in the latter half of this best of 5? I mean, Maryville, that was an eco round, obviously, for Winthrop, so they get weapons back. But now you gotta deal with Renz and the overdrive on top of that, and they, you know, they're gonna use it. I mean, they're sporting a Bucky.
I love it. They're not wanting to give up any major weapons here. They're pushing in fast. They pop the overdrive. You just gotta make sure Infiltrator doesn't survive. Brings it. You are the Neon Demon. Until you finally been brought to heal. They brought Nasi becoming the Exorcist, getting rid of all of these demons. And now finally for Winthrop, they've gotten rid of Maryville and stopping this insane Neon that has been giving them so much trouble. Oh.
Ooh, moves. 1v4. Nothing to be seen this time. And that's the, we said it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it on the
Cage triggered.
finally go to the A site, they lose it out.
Yeah, it's been different looks for Maryville University, but sometimes those looks aren't quite what they need. And for Winthrop University, this has been the round that they kind of needed, though, to be able to hopefully resettle things back into a good look for them. Here it is, though. The fault line slows down Renz, but it also hit Infiltrator at the same time. Doesn't really matter too much, though, with them being able to land that headshot, slide over to the other side, put up the fast lane, and try to debate them by hiding in this corner.
All right. Winthrop maybe riding the ship here. Moves as well as Infiltrator back on their kicks, but Chloric and Wi-Fi not going to let this slip away just yet. A beautiful reveal, though, sets Nazi up to finish the job. Here we go, 2-4. Might have a game on our hands here again. Nobody get ahead of themselves just yet. And I think the win bonus here might, warrant another buy here for Maryville, but they're definitely deepening those pocketbooks a bit after they lose this round. Maybe they'll have another half buy if they want a chance, Fate. But this is a round they definitely want to win to try and lock in towards that 6th round before the sides swap.
And here's the crazy part for Maryville, Zobi. They are going to push A again. But for Winthrop University, they're only leaving behind Nasi to try and slow that down. Of course, you still have the fault line to hit sewers and give the Neon some pause and hopefully begin the rotations from Winthrop. Now, right, you gotta let Jerk try to win these fights as best they can. They've seen one player taking a bullet for their troubles, but nothing near enough for Maryville to want to push into that yet.
All right. This is like the first time we've actually seen like a major slowdown without at least like frags being found for either side too, right? We're down to almost a minute left on the clock and first blood has not been drawn. Moves, going with the idea of baiting the camera here, tucked away in the corner of garage. While they head towards the seaside, they're going to head into moves. The beautiful drone, a beautiful flash that has to be respected. But now they're going to have contact with Flare to play off of as well. And they should, I was going to say, call the rotations from the rest of their team here, but this could still be a bait. Spike deep in spawn. They're not liking what they're catching wind of here.
No, and I wouldn't be either.
30 seconds.
You know that someone was inside of garage, but you're not willing enough to play through that, especially not when the Cypher trips have been set up on C and you haven't gotten rid of any of them. You want this Neon to have as much free reign as possible. Winthrop reading the playbook perfectly. 3 players set up here, but look at this. You've left Giza out in the middle. But Moves comes in through garage, eliminates them. Now you gotta push through. You gotta take these fights. You gotta win these fights, more importantly. Nasi and Jerk, the duo of dreams, has stamped and capitalized this site as their own. Now a 1-round differential between these two teams.
And again, you can't go back in time, but you're thinking, should they have just committed to the C hit? Like with that recoil, there was what, 35 seconds left? So when they're hitting that A site, there's so little time that if something goes wrong, like Nazi stepping up and putting some individual frags into the pot, they might have just found themselves at the...
Good news is Renz is still able to make the buys that they need to. But now instead of doing this A-site push that has failed 3 times now, they've got to go in and try C. The problem, right, what we're seeing is the adaptation of these trips from moves. They're not in the same place and not at the angles where Rins is set themselves up. Because of this, look how far moves is pushed in. They're safe inside of Cubby. Hunter's Fury, they're dancing around it. They're perfectly fine. And they managed to grab the one, but it's the Rins trade out immediately. And now Maryville has the numbers advantage. But again, Winthrop University are no strangers to this.
And they still have that overdrive in their back pocket, worst comes to worst, but with a thrifty, pseudo-thrifty in the making, not like this. Jerk! Okay, there we go. I mean, they are the master of some of these sing flicks, but Odin's Connect, it's 3-on-3 now. Jerk, this is the last place you want to go with these 3 players without shields. It's into the Odin spray of B main, and now they're pinched with Flare. Jerk just win it all to get the 2-piece to cap it off and tie us 4-4.
Yeah, Winthrop is doing so well at playing around this map and throwing Maryville into such disarray every single time. That is, again, someone being caught off guard in mid with a player coming through a garage. And this is a moment for Maryville. I'm glad they're doing it right now, right? It's a tied it's a tied map, 4-4. And before you let anything get away from you any further by Winthrop, call the timeout. Right? They were doing so well at the beginning of this map, Zobi. You had 4 rounds done in a row, but now Winthrop just slapped you in the face with 4 rounds in a row of their own. And Maryville, they get the buy here. Their economy is somewhat in shape enough for them to get the weapons they need. And now they really need to make sure that these ultimates coming up are coordinated, especially that Rolling Thunder.
Oh, for sure. I think I do like this timeout a lot. Like, we still didn't really see a timeout on the second map, but that first map, it was like a little late, so this is great. When it's 4-4, when it's tied, you're starting to lose some steam. And like you mentioned, it's going to be a pivotal round where you have a buy and you have a ult. That's where you want to take the timeout. And we got to give the coach some love because we don't talk about them too much. MCE, either they've been in chat or they also have a parent in chat hyping up the squad. And either way, it's just great to get that even though they're down now, O2 have to go for this reverse sweep. The mental, the support is there, and that's what you need at a bare minimum baseline, it feels like, to get this job done. And obviously by that timeout, we know that they're about to put everything into this round, and I hope Winthrop took the time to contemplate, okay, we also have our overdrive, we have our Rolling Thunder. Do we get out of dodge? Do we play retake? How are we going to counter this?
Questions all around, and this round is giving us that quick answer we need. Don't get caught inside of the tripwire if you're Rins, but unfortunately you did. And even with Maryville accomplishing a victorious fire squad on the other side, it's still all over the map where wars are being fought. Angie is going to step into the shadows to grab the spike, but Winthrop University is regrouping as quick as they can. The Rolling Thunder flying in. It's going to delay the spike from being planted. Angie has to step into the shadows, coming down on the ground. It looked like it was set up perfectly, but Infiltrator is going to stay safe from the Rolling Thunder of themselves, but a Paranoia and the tripwire at their feet is going to give this Neon momentary pause. They slide right into it and slide right into the bullets of Giza. Maryville University, the timeout is beautiful to put them back in the lead.
And again, we kind of pivoted a few rounds ago from C to the A side if you were Maryville, and there just wasn't enough time. So the fact that they commit to it that early on, after we see, you know, the CT beautifully held there by Nazi, that's perfect. Because then you have time to adapt, you have time to take your time on those duels. And the fact that we basically utilized all the ultimates that were there when the round started, yes, we've traded them out now for a few on the Winthrop side, but that's what you wanted to see. Win the round and get your opponent's ultimates out too, as you reclaim the lead.
Oh, the recon bolt on Infiltrator. Sophie. I think it was a headshot too. It's a good thing recon bolts can't kill. That'd be a really sad moment here for Winthrop University. Almost a sad moment here for Angie. Oh, inside of the utility.
Swear.
Moves just goes for that swing.
Yeah,
you know
never
that
expect them to.
you know they have someone behind them, right? So it's all good. And then they walk out
They
there.
had someone behind them.
Now the players that were in mid, they're gone.
Yeah. We're back to square one, back to... And there we go. I mean, the overdrive's already back online, right? Like, it was just online, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So now it's online again. Ren's flying through, though. I see everything that's happening on this site. You're getting the realization. We got the duel at long range, Cork. Oh, jerk! No way! Do you get the double kill with your Hunter's Fury lined up perfectly for this Sova? Clark is going to go inside a garage. They hear the firing from Jerk. They may have seen them too. You got an idea of this. Florian's going to go for the swing. They're going to go for the fight. Now it's down to the 1v1. They need to get back over here. Using the outro. No, not like this. Not like this. The relay bolt. They got to get out, but they can't in time. Infiltrator capitalizing on the missteps from Cloric and bringing us back into an even map once more.
And I again, Infiltrator finally stepping up when they have to. Tied 5-5. Again, the utility there for the Hunter's Fury. I feel like we've seen some of the best Sobolts this series from both sides, right? From the debut of them over on Ascent, right? The dueling in the skies to the setups we've seen over on Abyss. And now, even that, just to strike back after I just mentioned you traded your big high impact ultimates for maybe these lower hanging fruits. Now we're back to square one, economically speaking and everything.
Okay. It is everything for both of these teams. Prince got an overdrive online and get caught inside of this. He used the relay bolt again, though. Right? That's been the downfall many times of Maryville. Caught inside of utility, while Winthrop is just okay with taking these swings and knowing that they can win these. Meanwhile, there's two players settled nicely in the back of C site. Over the re-swing, Flare and the headshot onto Giza, where Nancy is furthering their lead once more. A couple of missed shots. It's just going to be the nail in the coffin for Maryville University. Took some time for Winthrop University, but they're back in the lead for the first time on Haven.
And they're going to be trying again. I mean, we had it kind of down to the wire over on Abyss as well, right? Where it was Maryville like, hey, let's try and tie this up 6-6. And it just slipped away into Winthrop leading 7-5. And then we know how the rest of the second half went, but the difference is, right, they started on opposing sides. The other difference is the buys were a little bit closer as well. And now this round, I mean, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Stingers, a Spectre, Deagles, like, not having ult to work with either. Like, the best you can hope for maybe would be Cloric to get a Hunter's Fury online here with an initial frag, but, I mean, the Odin spray when you don't have shields, moves, again, as aggressive as ever on the Sentinel. An Infiltrator here, they've been here before. This time they have a better weapon.
Oh, my word. The relay bolt knowing someone is going to dip into that corner and tuck for safety. Infiltrator, you looked cool with the 3K, but now Rins needs to go beyond the 3K. Go to the ace is the determining factor for the final round of the half. And we got a long sojourn for this poor Omen on Winthrop, where Rins is going to set up the spike on A.
Or are they? Okay. They were clearing out CT. I was like, interesting. But the gamble doesn't pay off here for Angie. Have even less time now to navigate this 1v1. The flank would be insane here, and I feel like that's what Renz is most expecting, interestingly enough, right? You haven't seen them in a while. You know something's going haywire, and you might have just heard those footsteps as well. Flare!
Oh! Renz looked away for just a moment, threw the crosshair away. And this gives Flare the final piece that they needed.
Wow. A little whiff. A little haircut. Omen doesn't have any hair. Flare doesn't need the haircut. What they needed and wanted was the advantage at the half. And celebrations of paranoia and smokes raining down from the heavens as Winthrop has been blessed with that lead at the half here yet again.
I feel for Renz though on that round. You know, there was a lot of pressure on you to land that final kill shot. And they knew, right? They had the read on what this Omen was doing. They hadn't heard anything happening from CT. They didn't meet any resistance on that spike being planted. So the logical conclusion they ran into was that this Omen has to be on the flank. It's just unfortunate they looked away at the last second thinking they heard something in one direction, but then looked back over to miss the headshot onto Flare, who saved the day for Winthrop and brought them into the 7-5 half. And so this is everything for Maryville. They need to recover. Otherwise, it's done and dusted.
Yep, there we go. A nice stun, Infiltrator. This is what they thrive in, the attack. A similar approach, right? You frenzy up, you dive in, you beat that entry, but an uncounted variable, Caloric takes the few down with them, buys time for Renz to literally place them on the battlefield, and it is bullets are flying, and Winthrop...
Oh my gosh. Well, if they're going to be falling, they're taking somebody with them, Zobi. Now it's down to the shoulders of moves. They have Sheriff. They need to go for the reload. And what does the team do? They flood this Cypher down. Maryville University winning the second pistol round of Haven. hopefully on track to bring us into a tied map yet again.
Oh yeah, we haven't really seen, I think, like any off-the-wall thrifties to say in this series. Interestingly enough, given the dominance out of Winthrop University, because they never had to save, right? And I think, look,
5 stingers.
Yeah.
And 5. Okay, it was almost 5 regen shields.
yeah, I mean, this is like dangerous territory, right? This is what leads into a reverse sweep in a best-of-5 grand finals.
Yeah, all eyes are on Winthrop right now. This is where things can easily go awry, and they kind of know that too, right? You're pushing in with all of the numbers that you have, and you couldn't land any kill shots, but at the very least, you've given your team, you've given Giza the 3K, but it's still numbers that Winthrop won! How?
They both have,
Is it the region shield, Zobi? What?
Maybe?
What?
I mean, did you see how little HP they had? It feels like it had to be. And again, that's a gamble, but if it pays off, it hits hard, right? I mean, now you have no buy other than Renz with a hero rifle, and it's suddenly Winthrop denying you that tie that you were nearly promised by winning out your second pistol.
It's the understanding of this map too from Winthrop, right? You have the numbers advantage. You may only have stingers, but that doesn't matter if your entire team is ready to fire back against just one player that Maryville kept throwing at Winthrop time and time again. And even through some theatrics like that, it's still not enough. Now Ange goes inside of the smoke, but you're being taken down by the stinger from Infiltrator. Clean headshots all around. Winthrop University, a full firing squad here to take the lead and continuing that lead once more.
Oh, I mean,
Huh?
nice aim,
Oh.
Floric. You can take that away from you. No flawless here for Winthrop, but I think they've read where you're coming from at this point. The repivot, the classic from long range, not able to chip and finish off any of these players, and not saying we're headed down the path to the end of this grand finals, but definitely feeling like it.
Prediction looking good, Zobi. Prediction looking very good.
The buy for Winthrop's not great. Like, there's a stinger, there's a Bulldogs in the mix. I think if Maryville needs to strike back, it's now. If not, then it's like 11 for Winthrop guaranteed, right? If you look at the buy that they're going to have being non-existent the next round. It's just, again, you're playing numbers, you're playing odds, and you're playing with fire. The chances dwindling with each passing round that goes Winthrop's favor.
Yeah, the iron's hot. Now is the time to strike for Maryville. Spikes are still going to be, trips are going to be still alive, but the problem is Giza's inside of the aftershock. And I guess they were feeling confident enough they could at least grab somebody, but it cost them their life to do that. And Wildfire is going to have to go crazy here to step up to the plate and recover what was lost on this site defense. The good news is Wildfire is doing it, but it's down to the 1v1. Jerk gets to safety in the nick of time, surviving from Cord. That's a good shock dart, but it's not good shots to follow through with it. Winthrop University, they may look down, but this team is never out.
Again, just down to the wire, right? From the stinger buy, they won with 2 players limping away to that being a singular player as well. Jerk clutches up for the team when needed. Waits beautifully on the information to come through from the neural theft as well. And I think we also gotta give praise to Nazi there, right? Like, did you see the flashes and how, like, Renz was immobilized there backside? Like,
Couldn't do anything.
Renz dived in, gets the weapon upgrade. It could have been, like, huge. And they just are out of the fight. And that's what double digits is. That's what now the economy is in shambles. Giza feels like they have to step up, and unfortunately you're full stun. And there's a Neon with full accuracy, dash on you.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to win that with a Sheriff, but it gets even crazier because Moves is here. Moves is having the time of their life. It's 3 headshots, and they were blinded out long enough for Ange to be able to sneak up behind them. Angie, you look so cool with that Sheriff for a moment, but now you've been you've been iced out by Infiltrator.
Bro, Moves made the Neon look tame, right, with that dash. Wow! Alright, there it is. Maryville, the second time out. And I think that was very similar to the first one, Sam, right? Like, all of the ultimates, a pivotal round, right? That was a save last round. You can tell from the antics of, okay, 3-4 players going through spawn to flank through C. And I think, like, this is it, right? You lose this, you don't have a buy. It's map and series point for Winthrop University. And they would get their chance to go back to Nationals and hopefully get into the grand finals this time.
It's robbed from them in the the LAN event
Yep.
at NECC 2024 Nationals. Now for Winthrop. 2 more rounds. An opportunity to right the wrongs of the past. Just got to get through these 2 rounds. Get through this timeout. Even get their own heads on straight, because they still have some valuable ultimates of their own to be used. A Hunter's Fury, Overdrive. Lots of different looks for this team. This is not even considering the fact that they were on a rocky start with Haven. Looking at this scoreboard, right? I mean, 4 in a row. 1 round to Maryville. 3 in a row. 1 to Maryville. Now 4 again in a row.
I mean, that 1 round, that was the timeout round, was it not? Like the
Yes, it
4-4?
was.
Yeah. So, I mean, if there's a time, it's now. My only concern is, like, Winthrop, like you mentioned, they're meeting them here at the ultimate door, right? Like, and they're going to one of the easiest sites, I think, to try and circumvent those ults. Like, they're just going for a fast B exec. Angie here could do everything they need to do. And this, I think, is also a fake, right? And you are so early, Cloric?
I mean, you basically had no information.
Like, Angie, like, didn't say there was anybody in. Angie hadn't taken a duel. And all of that gave up control of the A side. This feels like a major misstep.
Yeah, I don't know if that was kind of a panic moment here. Good relay ball pushes Cloric back,
Okay.
but it gives the Aldrone an opportunity to see everybody here. And if there was ever a moment that the team needed to regroup now for the full 5v5 retake, it is this moment. Wildfire is going to best into the Rolling Thunder, dive on into the side, moves. In the meantime, fires back. Infiltrator is giving us a look at that overdrive, but not for long, for Wildfire gives them some Wildfire to chew through. Nasi inside of the smoke. Numbers are dwindling if you're Maryville. It is all on the shoulders of Angie to give this team something, anything, but Winthrop is not doing that at all. It is now match and series point.
Wow. And we were kind of harking on them for giving up the A side, but it did seem like that plan, right, was to play off the retake, to gamble over towards B to make sure that wasn't, in fact, a fake. And I'm confused. Sam, were either player in Hell stunned there? I don't think they were.
I don't
From
think they were either.
from that Rolling Thunder. I think that's what really thwarted them. That coupled with what clearly was a protocol of Jerk, as soon as the ult comes out, the Hunter's Fury themselves are like, nope, you're not getting in off of it. And now they have their ult still to rely on. Like the Rolling Thunder to hit this C-side. They want to end this here and now.
Okay, maybe getting a little ahead of themselves though, right? But I mean, you got Renz flying in with the overdrive. Nasi's still alive. It's down to the 2v2 to determine the fate of Haven. Is Winthrop going to be able to take it here? Or does Maryville still have the fight left in them? Cloric hearing the firing from this weapon. Now down to the 1v1. Nasi has to go all the way back through main to grab the spike, but they know someone is back here on the other side. Going to be tucking in towards safety though. If you're Cloric, you know everything is on the line. You know what you need to do to win. Both of these players know. That's why we're running down the timer for a second.
Yeah, I mean, Aftershock confirms they were on site here. And I love Nazi's idea here. You have over a minute left. You cut noise. You think, okay, they're probably maybe wrapping around since I haven't seen them in a while. But Cloric makes the gamble. Can Nazi hit the flick? The answer is no, and Cloric allows their team to fight another day. 6 becomes 5 rounds needed now to get themselves into overtime to keep the reverse sweep dreams alive.
That had me at the edge of my seat. Nasi went for the flick. It was just barely above Cloric's head. And Cloric was calm, cool, and collected under that pressure, knowing that your hopes and dreams are lying on the line to be able to go to the LAN event happening in spring. And so you've delayed it for another round, but the question is, can you get the 5 you need just to get into overtime?
Here we go. Okay, nice little stun here. Infiltrator dashing in. It feels like they might be letting the confidence get ahead of them. Renz dashes out. Maybe some damage from the shocks as a parting gift here, but aside from that, they are battling. They're holding down, battering the hatches, not letting the squad onto the A site.
Yep, Flare, nice sidestep of the paranoia. Grabs the spike, moves, has lurked so far into the back line. But what they may not be ready for is Wildfire waiting for them. They knew someone was being sneaky. They knew they didn't have the accounting on every single player. So watch all of your angles, watch all of these odds. Now it's down to Winthrop University and Flare and Jerk to be able to step across the finish line for this grand finals.
I mean, this is so difficult. I'm a little interested in the fact that Winthrop's deciding to stick around here over towards A. I mean, yes, you've waited out the neural theft, a plus. I mean, but so much utility was whittled away from Maryville holding this site down. They should have had an easy time getting to another site. With 35 seconds left, we've seen this story before from the opposing side. Without time and your rushed commitment, it should be easy work for Maryville, especially with this numbers advantage.
Waiting, smoke goes away. They've seen the final two players are on the site. And even through the efforts of Jerk, not stopping Maryville. Again, another round. It's round by round, Zobi, at this point. Piece by piece.
Winthrop, we know you guys are confident. We know you're experienced. But when do you take a timeout? This is your last rifle round, and then suddenly it's going to be Maryville on 10, chopping out your heels. And I think maybe then they wait for, I think, that 10-12 mark.
It's a possibility, Zobi. Lots and lots of possibilities, but as the seconds tick away going into what is now our 21st round, it's starting off with the pick from Flair to Rins. The first blood, Maryville losing out on their star duelist. Giza evening the numbers, though. Clean trade, Wildfire set up with a fault line in through garage. That's going to set Giza up perfectly to continue this firepower train that the Cypher has set up. Gonna back away now. They know that one side is not very well defended against. They need to keep their eyes open. Infiltrator slides in with a headshot. Leaning over towards the back line. Another one comes through. Maryville is falling. They're putting in the numbers. And she looks away. Now Clark needs to do what they did again, but this time for the 1v2.
Oh, and this is rough. I mean, yes, the Omen's low, but we've seen Infiltrator in these duels. Confident, rehearsed. They just wait for the dark cover to fade and post up here CT and hope they win the duel. And yes, you know they're there, but now the Omen is the question. Where are they? And you'll never know, because Infiltrator with the 3-piece has secured the 13-8 victory for Winthrop University. Your fall 2024 NECC champions, booking their ticket to Nationals later in 2025.
3-0 sweep. What a way to make that happen as well. Beautiful work here from Winthrop University, dashing all expectations, I think, in even more crazier ways than I think we could have imagined, Zobi, right? It was a 13-1 first map, going into 13-6, and doing it yet again, closing us out here on Haven. Unbelievable performance from this team, and one that we saw this brilliance shining through at DreamHack, right?
Yeah.
We saw it in Challengers, and now it's just continuing that forefront yet again. This is a team that has been forged through so much of the fires and flames through the many different battles that they've taken across Collegiate and Tier 2. And it just feels like, well, hopefully they're getting started to make that transition back into Challengers yet again.
And I mean, I feel like Maryville, we finally got to see, I think, all of them starting to pull their weight here, evidence being the stats you now see on screen. But again, Moobs, I mean, they've had I think almost 20 first bloods this series, and they're the sentinel reminder for you guys, not the duelist in this party. And aside from that, I really think if we get a rematch between these two squads, it could be a lot closer if a different Maryville shows up from the get-go. Because, again, the map pool was so heavily, front-leaning for Winthrop as well, that it really is so hard. You're already fighting the history, you're already fighting the predictions, and then suddenly get to fight the map pool as well.
I think the thing that we're seeing here from Maryville, though, Zobi, is that going into the future, I am not going to be shocked if we see this team at Nationals, right? If we see them at LAN. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have this rematch happening on stage at that LAN. These two teams are out for blood against each other, and you see it in the form of Maryville, how much they have been able to refine themselves even against a team like Winthrop University, right? It's easy to forget that Maryville themselves was inside of Challengers, and they went up against phenomenal teams like YFP. It's just that Winthrop has that extra experience on their side, and being able to transition that here into what we're seeing in Collegiate has been, I would say, a landmark moment for this squad.
No, for sure. And again, showing that, maybe best of ones, Maryville can take them, but in the full series, the well-rounded nature of Winthrop are your champions time and time again. And they are looking to be also claiming that a rightful crown, right? They've been around, they've been consistent, but they've never breached first place in any of the leagues they compete in. Yes, they were the first, get into Challengers, but that's their crowning achievement right now, and they obviously want more. We saw them hungry in this game tonight. And speaking of hungry, time for some shout-outs and some thank yous, I really want to try the Wenzels. Me 6, so make sure you guys can beat me too and tell me how they are. Also, if you don't want some protein, you want other type of energy, G Fuel is obviously there, ! G Fuel in chat. I believe we have a code for some discount action going on. But aside from that, Sam, I think we have some other NECC action happening after this as well, so if you didn't get your fix.
Oh yeah. If you didn't get your fix, it's a good opportunity again, right? Get your Winzells, get your G Fuel, because tomorrow we have the grand finals for League of Legends. Tactics versus Grandview University happening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you get your alarm set. Make sure you're following the channels here on Twitch and YouTube. It's going to be happening. It's going to be crazy. It's a Division 1 team. Now, I've actually been getting back into a little League of Legends myself, Zobi. Yeah.
Was it the arcane? Was it
arcane? It's the arcane bug. It hits you like that. You're all of a sudden you got League of Legends installed again. Don't know how it happens. It's crazy. But if you are going to be missing out on the Valorant action because we just completed our grand finals here, we will be back with more Valorant in January of 2025. Our players have earned a well-deserved Christmas break, a holiday break. I'm excited to see what our teams are going to be bringing to us in the upcoming months on our next semester, in our next season of NECC. But until then, Zobi, I think this is going to be it for us for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching yet again, and we'll see all of you on the next broadcast.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.